Do you ever lie in bed, completely exhausted, but your mind just won't stop? The lights are off, your phone is face down, and somehow, tomorrow has already started in your head. You're replaying conversations, deadlines, things you should have done better, things you promise you'll fix tomorrow. And the more you try to sleep, the louder your thoughts get. If this is you, you're not broken, you're not weak, and you're definitely not alone. The problem isn't that you think too much, it's when you're thinking and how. So tonight, I want to show you a simple way to help your mind slow down without forcing it. During the day, your mind is busy. Classes, noise, notifications, people talking, things constantly pulling your attention, so your thoughts stay quiet. Not because they're gone, but because they're drowned out. Then night comes. Everything slows down. The world gets quiet. And for the first time all day, there's nothing distracting you from your own mind. That's when the thoughts rush in. School deadlines you pushed back, messages you meant to reply to, that weird moment you keep replaying, that voice that says, "Tomorrow I'll get my life together." And suddenly, your bed turns into a thinking room. Here's the important part, though. Overthinking doesn't mean you're lazy or failing. Most of the time, it means you care. You want to do well. You don't want to mess things up. You're trying to be responsible. Your brain is just picking the worst possible time to do it, and almost everyone makes the same mistake at night. They try to solve their entire life right before sleep. Here's the mistake most of us make, and it's completely understandable. We use our bed to think. It becomes a planning room, a courtroom where we replay mistakes, and a regret machine that keeps running on repeat. We tell ourselves, "Let me just think this through one more time. As soon as I figure this out, I'll sleep." But that moment never comes, because your brain isn't actually looking for solutions at night. It's looking for closure. It wants reassurance. It wants safety. It wants to know nothing is being ignored. So it keeps bringing the same thoughts back, not to solve them, but to make sure they're not forgotten. That's why nighttime thinking feels productive. It feels serious. It feels responsible. But here's the truth. Nighttime thinking feels productive, but it's the least effective thinking you do. You're tired. Your emotions are louder. Everything feels heavier than it really is. So the question isn't, how do I stop thinking? It's this. So what do high performers do differently? Here's something simple most people overlook. Your brain relaxes when it knows your thoughts are saved somewhere. Not solved, not fixed, just stored. Because when a thought has nowhere to go, your mind keeps repeating it, like it's afraid you'll forget. So here's the system. Keep a notebook or a notes app right next to your bed. When a thought shows up, a deadline, a worry, a reminder, write it down once. Not perfectly, not in detail, just enough so your brain knows, okay, it's handled. What you're doing here is externalizing the worry. You're moving it out of your head and onto something stable. That signals safety. Your brain stops checking in. It stops looping. It stops asking, are we still thinking about this? I used to replay the same exam fear every single night. Same scenario, same anxiety, over and over. The night I wrote it down, my mind finally let it go. But here's the important part. Writing things down isn't enough on its own, because there's another boundary that makes this actually work. Here's the rule that changes everything. Thinking has a time. Sleeping has a time. And the mistake most of us make is mixing the two. We wait until we're in bed, tired, emotional, unfocused. And then we start thinking seriously. That's like trying to plan your future when your phone battery is at 1%. So instead, do this. Before bed, not in bed, set a 10 to 15 minute thinking window. Sit somewhere else, a chair, your desk, even the floor. This is the time where you let your thoughts talk. You plan, you worry, you write things down. You think about tomorrow. Because when thinking is scheduled, Overthinking loses its power. Your brain stops ambushing you at night because it knows it already had its turn. And this part matters. You're not ignoring your problems. You're not avoiding responsibility. You're respecting your brain's limits. You're saying, we'll handle this, just not at 1 a.m. And honestly, this alone changed how fast I fall asleep. Here's something most people don't realize. A lot of overthinking isn't actually logic. It's fear, wearing a logical voice. It sounds responsible. It sounds serious. But underneath, it's just worry asking for reassurance. At night, your brain isn't saying, let's analyze this deeply. It's saying, am I safe? Am I falling behind? Am I going to mess this up? So fighting those thoughts doesn't help. Ignoring them doesn't help either. What does help is responding calmly, not with hype, not with affirmations, just quiet truth. Simple things like, not everything needs to be solved tonight. I've handled hard things before. Tomorrow me can handle this. You're not trying to convince yourself everything is perfect. You're reminding your brain that it doesn't have to stay on guard all night, that it can rest. And once you start doing this, the thoughts don't disappear instantly, but they lose their grip. Because reassurance tells your nervous system, we're okay for now. And there's one last shift that matters the most. Here's the shift that changes everything. You don't need to win the night. Night isn't for fixing your life. It's not for solving every problem. It's not for becoming a better version of yourself. Night is for recovery. We've been taught that productivity means always pushing, always thinking, always planning. But the people who actually perform well long-term don't treat rest as weakness. They treat it as an asset. High performers don't go to bed trying to squeeze one more breakthrough out of their brain. They protect their sleep because they know something important. A rested mind makes better decisions. A rested mind focuses faster. A rested mind doesn't spiral as easily. So if you're lying in bed right now thinking you need to figure things out before you're allowed to sleep, you don't. You're allowed to stop. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to let tomorrow handle tomorrow. Rest is part of productivity, not the reward for it, but the foundation of it. And you don't need to earn rest by exhausting yourself mentally. You just need to allow it. Nothing important will be lost by sleeping tonight, but a lot is gained. So if your mind feels loud tonight, remember this. You don't need to stop thinking. You just need to give your thoughts a place to rest. Park them somewhere safe. Separate thinking from sleeping. And when fear shows up pretending to be logic, answer it with reassurance, not pressure. Nothing in your life needs to be solved right now, not tonight. Tomorrow will still be there when you wake up, and you'll meet it with a clearer mind, a calmer body, more energy than you would have had if you stayed awake fighting your thoughts. So here's the only thing I want you to try. Just one. Write the thought down, close your eyes, and let yourself rest. And if you want more videos like this, quiet, honest breakdowns of how to think more clearly and reduce mental friction, subscribe to Lock Theory. No hype, no pressure, just practical ideas to help you move through life a little lighter. You don't fall behind by sleeping. You recover, you reset, you protect your ability to think clearly, and that matters. We'll figure things out, just not at midnight. Good night.